those are people who've just joined as well. I forgot to say that. Simon was the chief executive of the United Nations International Computing Centre during the years of 2011 and 2017. He was leading a team of 450 staff members and contractors, providing a shared IT services to over 40 UN bodies. He was previously Chief Information Officer in the Department for International Development. After retiring for full-time work, he has taken a range of non-executive positions, including a full term as an independent governor at this university, Oxford Brookes University, during the periods of 2017 and 2025. Simon has long championed for equality and diversity of all forms in the IT profession and will provide a short, high-level perspective from his experience. So can you all clap for Simon? Welcome.
Well, thank you very much, Ginnis, and thank you everyone who's turned out this evening in person and online for the meeting. And I'm hoping you're going to find the next 2 hours or so of great interest. It's a subject, as Ginnis has suggested, that's very close to my heart. And I just wanted to put together a few thoughts that I thought might help you think about some of the issues about women in IT as you go through the meeting. So I thought I'd just start off with some numbers, and the somewhat shameful fact is that 21%, only 21% of UK IT specialists are women. That's a figure from 2023, and it's significantly higher than it was a decade earlier. It's more or less in line with what happens around the world in most countries, but not necessarily all of them. Figures range from about 15% up to, I think, high 20s. And one of the sub-statistics in that is less than 1% of IT specialists are Black women. Now, you can look at that and say, well, we in IT organizations, like the one I used to run, have got to do something about that, and we've got to recruit lots more women into our organizations. And we could do that, and our HR directors will put us on the naughty step and tell us we've got to do that. But the problem is much deeper than that. If I had gone out and recruited 50% women in my teams, then some other organizations would have had to have had less, because the problem is the pool of women who are available to work in IT roles. And this goes back much earlier in our lives. So 20% of the accepted applicants on UK computing degrees last year were women. 15% of A-level computer science entries in 2023 were women. And if you look at GCSE, which now has computer science, 21% were women. And that's actually gone backwards when they moved from a nice general ICT GCSE, which was 43% women. When they made it more technical, computer science, it halved. So the problem goes back, and we're not going to solve it simply by going out and improving our recruitment practices in employer organizations. It's also worth noting that 10% of female IT specialists work part-time. 3% of males work part-time, but in other occupations, on average, 37% of women work part-time. So that shows me that we're not looking at the types of working conditions that women want to have. Now, what can we do about that? And I'm just going to put forward a few actions. I could talk for about 2 hours about this, but I don't have 2 hours, so I'm just going to put forward a few thoughts. First is that if we're going to do anything, we need to go back to the source, and we need to sell IT as a career to girls in schools so that they then go on and get the qualifications that they need to go on and work in IT as IT specialists. That's not something that only women should be doing. And I'm very pleased to see that the audience here has a mixture. At least visibly, it has a mixture. And it's up to everyone, male, female, and in IT, to sell IT as a career to everyone, not just to boys. One of the things that we can all do is to take what I call the macho heroism and long hours out of IT. The idea that if you just keep working and working and working until you solve the problem, regardless of how long it takes, that all IT upgrades have to be at weekends, and so on. We need to have it as a profession which is attractive to everybody, not just to a range of men. It goes without saying we should have gender-neutral recruitment practices. I hope that I don't need to say that to employers, and I hope that employers are doing that for every profession, not just IT. But there are things that we can do, such as making sure that our adverts don't put off certain sectors of the profession, that we don't advertise that people have to be on call 24/7 when we don't need that for a job. I've seen organizations doing that routinely for all IT jobs, saying that they have to be on call. And we can do things like if you have a selection and you have someone who doesn't quite meet the requirements for the job, but you think they might be a good someone to invest in for the future, they happen to be male, you don't employ them just because you think you might be able to train them up. You should have advertised fairly for every position you recruit to. And then the other thing we do is we mentor and coach people, and we do that potentially through having specific schemes for certain sectors of the profession, including for women. It doesn't have to be restricted only to women. And as I said, there's a problem with Black women. And then a final one is that when I worked for the UN, I signed a pledge that I would never appear on an all-male panel in a meeting. And I caused a bit of a stir in one meeting where I called out a panel which was being put up by a well-known large IT consultancy company, where they put a panel of 6 males to present to a meeting. If they couldn't find a female there, then something was wrong in their company. But I have to say, the answer is not, for me, all female panels. It's not for us to create a mirror image of what we have at the moment, of having all female organizations within an organization. We need everything we do to be inclusive and to give opportunities to everyone. That's my piece and my personal thoughts. Some of them you may disagree with, and you can come and disagree with me later if you wish, but I'm looking forward to hearing the rest of the meeting. And I think one of the things to bear in mind here is that any good example of women working successfully in the IT profession is something great to tell all young people that it's happening. So over to you, Ginnis.
Simon, thank you. That was so inspirational. Thank you so much. I was actually working on Saturday on a network switch upgrade, so there we go. Thank you. So now then, I'm hoping Sam at the other end is going to bring in the next speaker, and that is Ziana Zhu, a woman in computer science at Oxford, building community and representation. I don't know if he's going to do that. I can't see Sam, so I'm hoping he'll do it magically.
I think we just need to stop sharing the screen, Ginnis.
Okay, no worries at all. Hi Sam. I think, there we are. Ziana, you've unmuted. Hello.
Yeah. Hey.
Hello. How do you do? I'm Shanice from BCS.
Yeah. Nice to meet you. So I'm Jia. So could everyone see my screen right now?
Yes, I'm going to just introduce you, and then we'll get going if that's all right. Do you want to you get yourself prepared and ready, and we'll get going? Is that all right?
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead if you don't mind.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for joining us as well. So, as I said, Ziana, how do you pronounce your name? Because I don't know how to pronounce it.
Oh, Jia.
Jamian. Okay.
Yeah.
I hope I've done a good job there. So you're going to be talking about women in computer science at Oxford and building a community and representation, which is fantastic. So, in terms of Oxford Women in Computer Science, it's a student-led society that supports, promotes, connects women in computing across the University of Oxford. In this talk, you'll be sharing an overview of this organisation that you have and its mission, and including events, as well as something called Girls Who ML, which is great, and also the Oxbridge Conference. And also you're going to be reflecting on the personal journey in computer science and how these experiences have shaped you and your perspective as a woman who's doing research in artificial intelligence. Alongside this, you'll be introducing a doctoral research that you're doing again in AI and healthcare as well, which is really interesting, and you hope this research will improve screening for neglected diseases in resource-limited settings. So you're doing a doctorate at the moment, and you're doing it on sustainable approaches to biomedical science, and you're doing it on responsible and reproducible research at the University of Oxford. And your research focuses on improving the screening of female genital, and I can't say this word, perhaps you could say it. So it's a medical term, isn't it? It's some kind of, yeah. Can you say it for me?
Female genital trichomoniasis.
Okay, that's quite a big word, isn't it? Afraid I can't say that. And in low, and this is that you're looking at in low and also middle class countries, but you're using artificial intelligence techniques. And you are the current president for Oxford Women in Computer Science, as we said, and you've been actively involved for the past 2 years. So what I'm going to do is perhaps, Sam, would you be able to, I don't know if we can see Ziana. I can see the slides, but is it okay? Oh, thank you.
What do you want to?
Well, I don't know if we should have, can we see her? Because we can just see her screen. So if we click on, yes, then we can't see the slides. Okay, so yeah, so we go back. See on the screen. That's okay. I think we'll keep it to that. So
You just click the OK.
perfect. Thank you very much. Thank you. Lovely. So I just want you to probably cut for this lovely young lady who's come to join us, if that's all right, and then we can get started. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the introduction, and thank you for the Sam's invitation and also Simon's inspired talk just now. So I'll start with my talk. So with the title Women in Computer Science at Oxford, Building Community and Representation. So I'm really honored to have the opportunity to do so. So my talk will be divided into two parts. The first part is focused on the community, Oxford Women for Computer Science. So that's a large community we are building at. And the second part, like, I will call back about some of my personal journey. So first part is Oxford Women in Computer Science Society. So we shorten it as the Oxworks. So that's the students-led community in Oxford. We hold several of the events like every year with the aim to promote women in the area of computer science. As Simon has introduced, there are like less women in the computer science or in the IT field. So that's what our field are targeting at, and what we are doing to promote more women participant in this area, and never to be more like to be less underrepresented like in this whole area. So that's what our target at. And so in order to achieve the goal, so we have multiple of the events like running from the whole year, not only to the university students, but also to the high school students. So that's like how we can solve the problem like from a more previous stage. About Oxford, so we support and promote women and gender minorities in computer science, and also by the MPLS at the University of Oxford and beyond. So we have three main focus during like our community. So the first part is focused as academic and career advancement. Second part focusing on the social and community building, and the third part focusing on the well-being. So I'll go through the three main parts like on the next slide. So for the academic and career advancement, like we provide many of the help for the current students. We have the very amazing industry dinners and the networking opportunity. As you can see, like on the right bottom part, like we have many amazing sponsors every year. So who will help us to organize with the industry dinner and also the networking. So in the industry dinner, our sponsor will send some of their representatives to the dinner, and they will sit with our members in the community. That's saying like everybody in the dinner has the opportunity to speak to the industries directly. So the students can ask whatever the questions they want to. So such as like how we can apply for your company, and what's the positions are opening, and what are the preparations we need to do if we want to grab this position. So that creates like face-to-face opportunity and a more nice atmosphere for people to discuss with. Because many of the undergrad and also graduates, they don't have many such opportunity to speak to the company, and they don't know what are the target people, target skills they are looking at. So by organizing the industry dinners, students can sit face to face to all the industry persons, so they can have a closer connection with them and to see what are the targeted persons they want to hire. So that's the first event. So industry dinner and networking. And for the second part, we will invite the distinguished speakers seminar series. So that's the for the people who want to pursue like to chase for the industry opportunities. The first event is most suitable for them, and for the people who want to have an academic position or academic research in the future, the second kind of event will more attract them. So we will invite the professors in the computer science area, so the women in computer science area, for a talk. Usually it's like 1 hour to present what their work is, and after such seminars, the students can also have the lunch or dinner with the speakers, where they can know more about the academia and also research frontier in the current field. So both opportunity are provided. So no matter you are looking for a job or you are looking for a academic position, like both way looks very great to the students. We also hold the Keep It Real event. So that kind of like we have the panel talk. We were invited, we meet from the industry for the panel talk, and also some professors as well. So they can sit together to say what are their like self journey and what are the difficulties they encounter during work, and how like as a women, how they feel like, or such style like in their work area. So that's a Keep It Real event. The third large event we run for the career advancement is called the office visit or the resume CV workshops. So that's also organized or supported by our industry friends. So for example, last year we have the office visit to the trade desk. So people can the students can arrive to the office and then have some workshop or events in their office, and they can have the closer talk to the people who work there, so where they can get more view of what's the job will be looked at and what is the working atmosphere. So which we think is a very popular event, and many students want to go for this event because that's closely related to their future career. So apart from office visits, we also have the resume and CV workshops. So the industry, they will send representatives to hold these workshops, and they can give some general or more specific suggestions to the students to say what they are looking for. So let's say for the interview, so they will hold some of the mock interview sessions to see what's the common questions you will be asked during the interview, and how you can make better preparations for them, and what we can see or what we can identify from the answers you give. So that's kind of the mock interview or CV workshops, also supported by the industry partners. So the fourth event called scholarship, we just started running from last year. So that's because we find the funding opportunity in Oxford is quite limited, especially for the undergraduates. So for the graduates, you have some travel funding if you want to attend for the conference, but for the undergraduates, you can only apply a small amount from the college. It might not cover your whole cost. So that's why we are running for the scholarships program. So we are hoping more women who want to go to a conference, they can have the opportunity and they can have the financial support to do so. So we have 2 quota per term. So we will select two women students, and give them £1,750. So that's a lot to support them to go to the conference. So as there, they can go to others' others' works, and also to present their whole work. And also, during the conference time, you can present your poster, your oral presentation, etc., and you can have more connection with the people who working in the similar area as you. So which also give a strong support for the women who want to develop their academic career. So that's for the scholarship. For the 5th part, it's called Girls Who ML. So it's Girls Who Machine Learning program, because not all the members in our community, they are major in computer science. Most of them, or some of them, have the interest in computer science. They can also join our community. So at the very beginning, they might not have a very good programming ability. So that's why we are running the Girls Who machine learning courses. So in the first course, we will introduce the basic Python programming, and until the end, we will introduce some of the machine learning, deep learning techniques. So this kind of the Girls Who machine learning session will run it has like 6 sessions, starting with the lecture and followed by the tutorials. So the lecture, like our community member will give a broader view of the lecture slide. Then we have some like demonstrators who will be like around. So when you encounter some problem, when you go through the tutorial sheet, then you can ask the person about it and then solve the problem. So the basic aim of the Girls Who machine learning is to support more women like to study for the computer science. Even though your current major is not in computer science, so never mind. Even though even like you are studying PPE or international relationships, which you don't like usually apply computer science in your field, but no worries at all. So you can attend this kind of the events and to have a basic view of the programming language and also the machine learning AI stuff. So that's the 5th May activities we are run during the whole year. So here is some our poster like we sent out for the last year. So for the industry dinner for the Girls Who machine learning, so you can see we have the linear regression, neural networks, transformers, etc. For the courses, and seminar series. That's the conference scholarship you can apply for, the trade desk office visit, and that's also me. So I'm supported by this community the year before, which I have the honor to attend for the AI UK conference, which like hold in London every year. So that's also amazing conference opportunity where I can see many of the advancements in this area. So that's the first big part for the academic and career advancement. The second part, large part, is called the social and community building. As I say, like our community is not only open to the students who are in Oxford, we are also support many of the high school students. So we are co-host the events with the computer science department in Oxford. So that's what we call the outreach activities. Last year we have some like the master classes, which we teach them some of the math problems when they will encounter in like when they apply for Oxford. So apart from the normal admission, you also need to have some math examinations to be admitted to Oxford. So we are trying to offer such opportunities and such courses for them to enhance of some of the math problem solving. So by doing so, we hope they can have more interest in join the STEAM programs, so that not only the math, computer science, but all the STEAM related areas. So that's the outreach activity. And we will also co-host with the math festival by the math department every year. So that's also to encourage people, especially for women, to study the computer science and for the math. And just to mention, like for later this month, we will also have the hackathon, so which I will introduce later. So in the second part, for the social part, we have the annual Oxford Christmas dinner. We have many of the social events which are free to our members in Oxford. So you only need to register with us, then you can have the opportunity to attend so many of the events. So like the Christmas dinner and like the department lunch, undergrad, postgrad dinner, and wine and painting night. So you can sit together with the female members like in our community, and you can discuss your current situation, your problems encounter, what's the big event that happening recently. Of course, you can also discuss more about the academia or career questions. So you can meet many of the friends who share the similar interest as you, the computer science. So you can come to these events and to make friends with people all around. And I hear that many of our alumni in Oxford has also been friends for many years, even they graduate. So at the very beginning, they just meet each other in our community and support each other for the whole career. Afterwards, we also have some like well-being events, like the board game social, bubble social, cafe study, sip and solve. So that is to support people are like just in the well-being situation, and we are all here to support you. So if you have any problem, you are free to come, and you can just discuss with the people around, and we are trying to help you. Yep. So. Also, some of the posters from last year, so the ice cream social, Christmas dinner, departmental lunch, job training cocktail reception, and also the International Women's Day dinner. So we have multiple of the social events and community building events during the whole year. Just to mention, like we also hold the annual Oxbridge Women Computer Science Conference. So that's a one-day conference which is co-hosted by the Cambridge Women Computer Science. So everyone can come if you have a STEAM background. So we accept the poster and talks from gender minorities in computer science or some closely related areas. So our participants are usually undergrad, postgrad students, lecturers, researchers from both universities. So we will have the post-session oral presentation, panel talk, workshop, etc. during the whole day event. And this annual conference has been held for several of the years. So for the next year, it will be held in Oxford Mathematics Institute on the 9th of May. So if you have an interest, you can keep an eye on this event and welcome to join it. So that's me to attend for the Oxfordshire conference a year before, and you can see like many. So that's a large photo from us. So many of us just attend this event. And so this is a picture from the year from this year, so this May. So I'm very glad to have the opportunity to give my research talk at this conference. And yeah, so that's really lovely event we are running every year. So on the left-hand side is our newsletter. So if you are interested to join us, you can just scan the QR code or visit our website. Then you can be a member with us, and we will send out the newsletter every week. So yeah, so just to see whether there are some events you are quite interested in. And as I mentioned, like we will also hold a hackathon in the end of this month. It's supported by the Girls Who Machine Learning, AGE, and also the Inspire. So that's like 2-day hackathon. We have three main themes, like the Gen AI for careers, expandable AI for everyone, and Gen AI for education. So you are welcome to join this event as well. So it's encouraged women for the hackathon experience. It will be 2-day events. So if you are interested, you can also scan the QR code here. Then on the right hand side is our Nicholas term card. So you have the ice cream social in the week 2, and also wine and painting night in week 2. For example, you have the industry dinner in week 4. So it covers all the events I'm mentioning in the previous slides. And if not in the Nicholas term, then we will hold more in the Hillary and also the Trinity term. So that's basically like what we are running as our community for the Oxworks. Many of the events coming for the whole year. So moving to the next part, it will be much shorter. So that's my personal journey about women in computer science. So I'm a DPhil student in Oxford who has the research interest in automated image diagonals for female genital cyst meiosis. My supervisor is Professor Alison Nobel, and also co-supervised by Claudia from Merck. So our lab has a very good atmosphere, and it's very different to many of the AI lab currently. So more than half of our lab members are female, and all the disease, most of the disease we are targeted at is more female related disease. For example, for me, I'm research on the female genital cyst meiosis. So this disease majorly occur in Africa, and particularly in Sub-Saharan Africa, which has already affected about 56 million African women and girls, has been identified as one of the most neglected sexual and reproductive health disease. So this disease is majorly caused by water, by the fresh water contaminated by the larval forms of the parasite. So it's quite common in the rural and poor communities where the clean water is really limited. There are several complications of this disease. In the early stage, it's just be the genital itching or bleeding, but in the later stage, in the more severe cases, it's ectomic pregnancy, premature birth, and etc. So it has more severe situations. The current techniques is by biopsy or by the vision inspection. However, FGS, so this disease FGS is still underreported and misdiagnosed because there are lack of expertise in the endemic countries, because most of our low and middle income countries, they don't have so many of the expertise in this region. Also, different levels of expertise will lead to different FGS diagnosis conclusion. Also, lack of the widely available and specific diagnosis tools, in this region. So as many of you may aware, so for the advantage of AI models, it's scalability, it's scalable, so it can be deployed widely at low cost. It's also efficient, so it can process large image values quickly. It's also consistent and reliable because it's a standardized analysis and reduced diagnosis variability. It can also help with the early detection. So that's where my research is focusing at. So first part for the user requirements, so we can develop an automated computational deep learning based approach to standardize the diagnosis process. And it should be suitable for the health workers with limited FGS background knowledge. And the second part is to focusing on the model interpretability and reliability, also developing for low lightweight software architecture. So my first paper, like for the FGS, for this AI applied techniques on the FGS, had already been published on the Mayo Clinic Proceedings Digital Health. And also my second part of work has also been accepted in the ICCV conference, so which is an AI conference. So that's it for my presentation today. So yeah, two parts. First part mostly on the community building, and the second part as my personal journey to the research area. Yeah.
Thank you so much. That was so enjoyable. It's amazing. You do quite a lot. You're doing all sorts of events, and you've got things that you're going to get together, and you eat, and you have dining events, and it's a full program of things you're doing. And it's interesting to learn about your research as well. So that's great. One thing I was going to just check before the questions was, is everyone welcome to this, your group, the Women Computer Science group in your university, or is it just for university students in Oxford University?
It's mostly like be open to the Oxford University, but for the conference, as I mentioned here, it's open to all. So
okay,
yes.
Yeah, just wanted to just double check that. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, hopefully Sam's doing the tech side, and I'm doing the talking side. I just wondered from our lovely people here, is there any questions at all? And I can bring the mic to you so you can ask the question. So just let me know. Just put your hand up and I'll come over. Any questions? No, very, very quiet. I don't know, Sam, can you see any? Yeah, Sam's asking if there's any questions from people as well online. Let's have a look. You can see messages here. That was really interesting. I was just going to, while people are thinking about asking a question, I was going to ask as well that it's really good that you encourage fellow students, and you've got a nice link between university life and going into work life and helping people with their CVs and so on. That's fantastic. Do you normally get some professional to come and help you with the CVs and applications or anything like that, or do you have do you talk together and get together as a network and help each other?
So thank you for the question. So for the CV workshop, it's mostly supported by our industry partners, and like with the aim of the CV workshop is to enhance the students who are applying for a job. So it's not very academic related. So yeah, for the more academic related, I think that should be belong to the scholarship and also the speaker seminar. So which is more academic related. But for the CV workshop, like it's more about how do you apply for a job.
Yeah, lovely. I do have one question, and I think you've answered it, but how did people apply to the computer science conference? You had a QR code, didn't you? Could you just
Yeah,
and then
yes, like mhm.
to take a photograph at that point? I don't know if anyone is interested in doing that. Is that one? Is it or?
This one is for our
Oh, that's
newsletter,
from
and this one is our website. So just keep an eye either on our website or on the Instagram. So we will post the events, I think at least 2 months before. And if you are interested, you can also submit an abstract for your poster session or the oral session. We will let you know whether like you have been accepted. So yeah, so that's it. It's normally announced like around March. Yeah.
March time, and it'll be on that website around March. So
Yes.
Disha, hopefully that answers your question.
And also on the Instagram as well. Yeah.
Oh,
So
it's on
just
Instagram as well. So if you've got
yeah.
Instagram, that would be another place
Yes.
resource to go. Lovely.
Yeah.
Is anybody? Oh, yes, this lady's got a question. Let me just come up with you.
Okay. Will she hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'm just like wondering what the biggest obstacle was for you while creating your AI project. Like, is it like gathering evidence or like data from women or?
Thank you so much.
Yes, that's a good question. So yeah, like my current work like is more focusing on the computation side. So the data I'm using is from a camera which they collected in 2022 to 2021. Yes, like we'd like to get more data on it, but it's really it's really a difficulty because that's the images is more sensitive to the women, and like they are not like very too showy for the images or for several reasons. So current like a bottleneck of my research is also about the data, but we are also trying to develop some of the techniques which can encounter this to overcome this data limiting problem. Yeah, so we are trying to use the current available images to develop to enhance the screening or the diagnosis for FGS.
Yeah, yes, I'll come over as well. I have heard that they're using AI for breast cancer imaging as well.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Anna. So does it need the clinician to take the picture, or is it a woman itself? Like, is it the self-diagnosing some sort of thing, or is it the clinician taking the picture?
Yeah, thank you for the question. Yes, so the clinician takes images on site, and like this clinician and also another clinician do the annotation on it. So either FGS positive or negative, and like what's the rough location of the lesions are. So we have the clinician recorded results, and also we are currently like conduct a survey from the clinicians to see what are their like most emergency emergent requirement for our AI tools. So yes, so for the original images is conducted by the clinicians and also annotated by the clinicians. And for the follow-up research direction for their requirement, we are also conducting for the clinician surveys.
Lovely. Does that help? Yeah, lovely. Anyone got any more questions I can run over? You sure? Nothing online? Anyone online want to ask any questions at all? It's been a brilliant talk. Fantastic. Loads of information because you've talked about your research, you've talked about your group, and you've talked about this linkage you've got between industry and university. So there's a lot going on. So that's great. Okay. All right. Well, I just want to say thank you so much for joining us, and thanks for Sam.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Lovely. Thank you so much.
Let's go ahead and.
Lovely. Right, I've got a lovely lady here from Oxford Brooks. So I'm going to introduce her, Azinta Alana. I'll probably spell Alanta. Pronounce that very incorrectly. So she is actually one of our senior lecturers in Oxford Brooks. I'm going to talk about her now. It's doctor, isn't it? You're a doctor. Wow. Okay. Alana has a BSc honours in physics from the University of Basque Country in Spain. I wish I was in Spain. It's not there, isn't it? And a PhD from Heriot-Watt University in Edinburgh. She's a program director in postgraduate and international computing at Oxford University. She has extensive experience at teaching at all levels, from foundation years to masters. She has also supervised PhD students in Spain and also in UK. Azanta has always been interested in artificial intelligence, in particular knowledge, representation and reasoning. In recent years, she has become interested in how AI can be applied to healthcare, particularly in supporting people with diabetes to manage and understand their condition. Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. I think that I'm going to use this one. I don't like that karaoke microphone. Okay, so I think that I'm one of the eldest in this room, and what I'm going to talk a little bit is about my journey. Okay, so how I become, how actually I arrived here, and what actually was my path from being a teenager in the Basque Country to almost a retired person here in Oxford. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about my journey. So I'm going to start with this town. Anybody can guess which town is this one? Yes? Bilbao, yes. So I'm from the Basque Country, I'm from Bilbao. When I grew up in Bilbao, it didn't look like that. It was a very industrial town. I grew up in the transition, what is called in Spain, between the dictatorship and the democracy. I was in the Basque Country. I don't know if some of you young people knew about the Basque Country, the problems that were in the Basque Country. So it was a little bit like another Ireland, but in Spain. And there was a lot of demonstrations. There was a lot of things going on when I was a teenager, like most of you. And actually, I was from a working class family. I was the first one to go to the university. I think that only my brother and me are going to the university from all the family. We were from a family that actually has to struggle a lot because my grandparents came after the Civil War in the lost part of the war. So it was quite difficult to actually build up a family when you were in the wrong part, when you are actually losing a war in any country. So my parents always thought, okay, education is the best thing, so you have to actually go to university, and that is what I did. But I was actually in a very traditional type of family, thinking, okay, yes, we will see that in the next slide. So I went to a non-school full of girls, doing a lot of things like art, music, crafts, and learning to typewrite. And I hate all this, actually. I was hopeless, completely hopeless in anything that was to do with a woman in that age. And I was very good at maths. I was very good at physics and chemistry. And my family was, oh my God, what is going to happen with this girl? So I ended up at university in Bilbao. I studied physics, and it was a shock going from a girls' school to university full of very weird guys doing physics with me. And then from there, I end up here. And this is Edinburgh, okay? So actually, and I got a little bit about my research part and the study part in the next slide. I end up in Edinburgh because I did my final year project in an internship in a company in Bilbao that was working in a European project with Edinburgh. And they decided, okay, what do you think about going to Edinburgh and spend 1.5 years there doing some kind of a master by research over there, and then just come back. And then everything that you learned, actually, we can apply there here in Spain, in this company in Bilbao. And I said, well, why not? So I just moved to Edinburgh. And it was the first time that actually I went abroad. I was living with my family, with my parents, because that is the way that you actually grow up in Spain. You just go to the university that is next to your home. So I just studied there. I was living with my family, and then suddenly I went to Edinburgh. And I arrived there, and I said, this is no English. I cannot understand any single word there. So I was in Heriot-Watt with the people from Aberdeen, Glasgow, Dundee, the Highlands, and I couldn't actually understand them when they talk with each other. They were quite nice, and actually they tried to speak slowly with me, and I have a fantastic time over there. So I arrived thinking, okay, I'm going to be there for 1 year, do my master, and come back. I end up doing a PhD, being a postdoctoral RA over there. I met my husband there as well. I have my first daughter there, so my first daughter is Scottish. And then I spent a wonderful 10 years there in Edinburgh, okay? So it was, okay, it was hard. Sometimes I have a daughter. I didn't have my family there, so it was only my husband and myself. And at that time, the maternity leave was actually 16 weeks. And it was fantastic because in Spain it was 4 weeks. So it was 16 weeks, 24 weeks unpaid leave. So I just took that. So my daughter was 6 months old when she went full-time to nursery. But it was good because it was on campus. So I could actually breastfeed my daughter while I was actually working. And they phoned me and they said, and then all my colleagues, all the different RAs that work with me were female, and all of them were playing with my baby. And then it was actually quite nice. We have lunch together with the baby and everything. So I always was of the thinking that it doesn't matter whether you have to breastfeed in the middle of a park or in the middle of a restaurant. I did it, and nothing happened, okay? So that was me in Edinburgh. So I ended up being a full-time postdoc in Edinburgh with a baby. And then suddenly the project finished, my contract finished. And then there was this possibility of going back to Spain. And then they told, my husband is Mexican, and he was a lecturer in Edinburgh University. And then we decided, okay, let's go to Spain. Both of us found a position over there. I was a PhD student, I was a postdoc, but I didn't have the chance to actually do any teaching when I was doing my research. So it was going to be the first time for me to actually do any teaching. So I was a little bit worried, thinking, actually, do I want to do it an academic role, or do I prefer to go to industry? So we decided to go to Spain, and then I end up here in a town called Tarragona, that is in Catalonia, next to Barcelona. So I was a lecturer over there. And it was funny because I got this position. The people there, they want one of their PhD students to have this position, not me. So when I arrived over there, they gave me all the possible teaching that they could manage. And I have to teach ADA, a language that I didn't know anything about, that I didn't know even that exists, computer graphics, C and C++, artificial intelligence, everything. It was 14 hours of teaching every week, okay? And they gave me the evening lessons as well. So I was teaching until 9 p.m. with a baby that was 2 years old. And I was just teaching over there for 1 semester until they realized, actually, she's not so bad. So then after 1 semester, they decided, okay, maybe we need to give her less teaching and then help her a little bit more, okay? So I arrived in Tarragona. My daughter was 2.5 years. She went to nursery in Edinburgh. So actually her first word was cheer me. And then she was saying, I, and with a very Scottish accent. And then we arrived in Tarragona and she went directly to the nursery because I have to work and everything was in Catalan. And she was like, oh my God, the poor little baby was like, okay. And then the people in Catalonia, they tried to speak a little bit of English with her because they don't want to speak Spanish. So it was everything in Catalan or English for her. Anyway, we spent 5 years in Catalonia. So I did quite a lot of research and teaching over there and realized that when I was there, actually I liked the university environment. And I think that is quite good in terms of for a woman, you have, obviously you have your teaching, but you also have the freedom of working from home as well. As long as you come and do the teaching, the rest of the time, you actually have a little bit of freedom. And then what happened? My husband didn't like it over there because he's Mexican. There was quite a lot of things going on with a little bit of racism as well. So at the end, actually, he got a position in Oxford University. So we decided, okay, let's move back again to the UK. And then we moved to Oxford. I have my second daughter over there. So I have 2 children. Then suddenly I moved back to Oxford. I was working part-time for 1 year and a half or so. I was working in Reading University. I was associate lecturer over there. And then I was also continue working a little bit of the European project that we brought from Spain to Oxford during 1 year and a half. And suddenly there was a position open at Oxford Brookes University. So then I arrived here and I've been here for more than 20 years. So all my colleagues over there maybe didn't know anything about my story, but that is how I arrived here. And it's been actually, again, something that I started for just doing some kind of lectureships to just move a little bit more. And now I'm part of this team that has to work on the postgraduate studies, try to recruit actually students to this master as well, and then try to make these ladies to come here and then do something with us. So I will talk a little bit about that later on. So this is my journey in terms of what I did. I want to talk a little bit about my research as well. So I started with divided it in 2 parts, last millennium and this millennium, because most of you maybe have already was not born in the last millennium, but actually I spent quite a lot of time of the last century alive. So as I said, I start with working, study in the Catholic school with nuns, full of girls. Actually, I was quite lucky because the headmaster, the headmistress was actually very liberated. And it was one of these ladies that wanted to push girls to actually do something that is not staying at home and taking care of your children. And she was actually the one that taught me physics. And she's the one that tried to push me to actually go to a scientific degree, because that is what I like it. So I didn't like to stay at home and taking care of my children. And my mom always said, well, if you have children, you have to continue working because otherwise you are going to be chaotic over there. So I just went from that one into physics, okay? So when I studied physics, it was a 5-year degree in Spain. So it was the 3 first years, it was a general physics. So I quantum mechanics, electricity, I studied mathematics, chemistry, a lot of maths, actually. And then after the 3 years, then you have to do a specialization. The one that I wanted to do was astronomy, but that was not part of the curriculum in the Basque Country. You had to go to Madrid. And my family couldn't afford me to actually go to Madrid because in Spain there was no any loans or any type of ways to actually ask the government to give you any type of money. I have actually a scholarship not to pay the tuition fees, but the tuition fees was like 100 euros or something like that. So it was ridiculous. But you don't have a maintenance loan or anything at all. So I couldn't afford that. So then there was two possibilities: study new materials or study electronic control and computing. And then I decided, okay, let's go to the control electronics and computing. So in the other 2 years, I study control, I study programming, we did Pascal, we did assembly, we create a compiler. We were working with this type of dumb terminals that were connected to a computer. So you have to do your program in this black screen. And obviously the computer probably was weaker than your mobile that you have at this moment. Okay. And then when I was in my final year, then there was one of the lecturers that was actually the lecturer on control. He told me and 3 other people, okay, there is the possibility of doing some kind of internship in this company that is a research and development company associated with the company, the electricity company in the Basque Country. And if you want, you can go to the interview and see what happened. So I thought, okay, let's go. And then I got the position. I was the only woman in this scholarship. And then I did my final year project there in this computer that is a Lisp machine. So as part of this European project that they have these machines and they didn't know what to do with them. So they said, okay, we have this internship there. She is going to learn Lisp and she's going to do the project with that. So I did something that is called QSIM, it was a quality simulator model, working with Lisp. So I had to learn Lisp by myself. And then I did this project there, I got a distinction. And then they say, well, actually, why don't you stay with us and then work with us in this project? So then I stayed with them. I did a graduate training scheme with them. And I was working in an expert system in art. So some of you will have done something with art. So art, it was a system for implementing a rule-based system. So I was doing a diagnostic system for a gas network in the Basque Country. So I have to go to the control center there. I was, I think, 23 years old or something, full of all these engineers that were looking at me and saying, what are you doing here with us? And I was just there with my computer, just trying to asking questions about the valves, how do you open this valve, how do you close this valve, so how they are all connected. And they were like, you don't know anything about this. What are you doing there? They were also very skeptical because it was when all these expert systems were coming. It was artificial intelligence. They were thinking, oh, I'm going to lose my job. So that is similar to what is happening now with Gen AI, but that was the precursors of all this with all this logic and expert system. So I was working there. We actually wrote some papers. We present the papers in Madrid. And then my supervisor said, oh, actually, I cannot go to Madrid, so you have to go to Madrid to present the paper. I was like, oh my God, I've never done that before. I'm just 23 years old. And then I just arrived there and I have to present this paper. I was the only female presenting papers over there. I was just tiny, just very nervous, just in front of the microphone. Microphone was there and I didn't know how to move it. But anyway, I did my presentation. I got the prize as well. And then I came back and then they said, okay, I think that we need to learn how these people is actually working in Edinburgh because we don't know this technology. So what about if you go over there? And they said, okay, we pay you to go there 1.5 years, but then you have to come back. Or you can apply for the Spanish government PhD scholarship. And if you get it, then we don't pay you, so then you have the freedom of do whatever you want. So I applied for the scholarship and I got that one. So I arrived in Edinburgh and then I got the position. And at the beginning, I was going to do just a master and that's all. But my supervisor was telling me, okay, you have the money for doing a PhD. So why don't you stay for a PhD? And at the beginning, I thought, oh no, I want to go back home. This is very weird. I don't like it. The weather is horrible over here, and everything is quite. But at the end, I stayed. And I was working with this computer. It was a Sun Spark Station. Do you remember that? So it was actually in VI. I was working Unix, VI, doing, again, working with expert systems. And is when the internet started coming up. So we start connecting using news groups and, and all these type of things. And then MS-DOS started as well, and Windows. And then instead of just having a huge blank screen, then you can start having different windows actually to work in different windows over there. So I was working in fuzzy logic. So we were doing, the QSIM was the simulator to work with qualitative values. FuSIM was actually the same one, but working with fuzzy logic, okay? So basically, well, I'm not going to go into details. So you have the input, you have the rule-based system, you fuzzify the input. So instead of having a temperature of 45, you have a temperature low, medium, high, or whatever. And then you decify it and then get an output, okay? So I was working with them in that part. But what I did is a model-based reasoning. So I was actually working with models of a distillation column, because they were working in a European project with a company in Spain that has a distillation of oil into different subjects. And then what I did is actually create a system that, given the model of the distillation column, you have the input data, you compare it with the simulation, and if there is a discrepancy, you say that there is actually an error somewhere. You try to find where the error is by having some kind of faulty models somewhere there. Actually, to do that, I need a distillation column simulator, and we didn't have that in the computer science department. But I met this guy, that it was my husband at the end. I was a chemical engineer in Edinburgh University, that they have a simulator called Aspen. So he actually taught me to use this Aspen simulator. So I did my models in Edinburgh University with his help. And then that was actually how I met my husband, and then it was part of my PhD. So that is what I did in Edinburgh. I finished my PhD. I was working in another European project for another 2 or 3 years. Then I went to Spain, okay? So when I went to Spain, I was working in different projects related to, again, they actually want me because I was working in model-based reasoning. They have a quite good group in case-based reasoning, model-based reasoning, logic, and knowledge-based system. So that is why I actually got this position. So, and then we start moving into, again, in that time, the artificial intelligence was more into logic, knowledge-based systems, inference systems, expert systems. They were moving more into actually having models to explain what the fault is. And neural networks were there, and machine learning started moving with this type of logic, because the computers were not power enough to actually do what they are doing at the moment, okay? So I was working in a project in which we tried to extract information from the websites using what then later on was called semantic web, okay? So try to use ontologies to get some kind of terminology that are useful for you, and then with this terminology, you capture this information from the web, and then try to identify what this website is talking about, okay? So that is what I was working in Spain, and then that is the type of knowledge that I brought with me to here. Then here I start working with our team, and then just start moving into case-based reasonings, model-based reasoning, working in healthcare, okay? So just to finish, because it's already quite late. So I was working in a European project called PEPPER. So what this project was doing is capture the information about a person with diabetes, what this person is going to it what is the glucose level at this moment, and then suggest, recommend the doses of insulin that they need, and also find alarms in case that they are reaching a point in which they may become hypoglycemics or hyperglycemics. So that is what we were doing in this project. And then from this project, we are moving more into what is happening at the moment with AI and so on. So I was working with Tier in a project in Mexico, trying to use his research in identify people that are prone to diabetes by looking at how the people walk, okay? So using gait analysis. And obviously I will leave Tier to talk about that later if he wants. And then we're working now recently in projects with virtual reality. So the first one, we were working with Colombia. In Colombia, they have people with diabetes that are living in the rural areas. They don't go to see the doctors very often. So we were talking about how we can actually use some kind of virtual reality to help the people to manage their disease, to understand what they have, what are the symptoms, for instance, of hypoglycemic. That is the type of subject that we were talking about here. So we create some kind of a script in which they have Google glasses, they put the mobile phone over there, and then somebody is talking about what hypoglycemia is and how they can actually prevent that. So we use it to see whether this type of technology could be useful. And then the next step that we did is actually working with a cave that we have over there, using AI and virtual reality to personalize the way that we can actually talk with patients and tell them about their disease and how they can manage the disease properly as well. So again, I don't have much time to talk about that. So, and just to finish, I'm going to talk a little bit about our programs. So my role now is actually to go through, help to manage all these postgraduate studies that we have at the moment. So I have some of the people that can see here. They are already doing some of our master programs. And these are the ones that has more women on there. So if you see the percentage of undergraduate computing students that we have and the percentage of postgraduate computing students we have is quite significantly different. So in some of our subjects, we even have almost 50% of girls in the postgraduate studies. And that is because we have quite a lot of women. For instance, Anya here is one of them, that maybe they are doing something completely different, and then they want to actually understand and learn about how actually develop software. So you are using a lot of software. So, well, I want to learn about how actually I can use it better, how I can use data better, and so on. So they come actually to do our master with us. So just to finish, I just want to mention some of our alumni. So we have people like Constanza, she's from Chile. She was working in a company in Santiago de Chile. She was in distribution, in a distribution network. She was an administrator over there. And then she came to do the data science master with us. And now she's innovation manager, because now she took all this skill that she learned with us, and now is actually looking at the data and then try to identify what is the best path to follow, what is actually the type of profile of the clients that they have. So she has used this master to actually a promotion in her career. We have Ilan over there. She is actually from Morocco. She studied in France. She came here to do our master in cybersecurity, and now she is a freelance data governance and cybersecurity person that is actually going to companies and then advise them about how to be more secure in their networks. And Sarah, I suppose that a lot of people know her. She was one of our administrators. She was with us for a long time, decided to have a break in her career. She did a master with us, and now she's a software engineer in Office for National Statistics. So again, it's another way to see that how moving to IT can help women to actually change their career and then do something completely different. And then finally, we have Yumi, she's Japanese. I think that she has an engineering degree. She did again a master with us, and now she's a quality assurance engineering in Oxford, I think, at the moment. Okay, so this is everything for me. So I try to, I think that I spend more time on your questions.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Lovely. That was absolutely fantastic. I've got so many things to ask you, but I'm going to let the audience ask questions. So if I just borrow that mic, would that be all right, Sam, and see if anyone...
Only one question.
Oh, Sam is restricting it to one question. Okay. Okay, so let me just make sure I've got my mic on. Hopefully I have. Does anyone have, I can't see any questions online. Does anyone have questions here? I can come over and run over and you can ask questions.
I think that everybody's dying.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. No problem at all.
It was really inspiring.
Mhm.
Like as a mom, I know what challenges you face and still progressing your career. So it's really good to know your story. I just would like to ask, like, about your research. Like, what do? You work with the app and the data with diabetics patients and all. So how to improve their condition, or possibly how to predict it
Yeah.
at the beginning rather than diagnosing it at the later stage. So my question is, do you work with any other industry
Yeah.
partners, or it is just Oxford
In
groups?
all the research that I have done is some kind of multidisciplinary research.
Okay.
So the European project was with Imperial College, with people in Catalonia as well, in Girona, with Romanian and French people. The ones that I'm talking about Colombia, it was with doctors in Colombia as well. And then there was a company here that actually developed a virtual reality type of script. So it's actually always multidisciplinary one.
Okay, that's
Okay.
great. Or any other organization funding this research other than what you have mentioned? I mean to say the company, like there are other players as well, like Novo Nordisk. I
Yes,
heard
there
of
was a
it.
company
And
actually, the one that
they-
was providing the pumps and all these type of
Okay,
things as
yeah,
well.
because I have heard like they also develop such
Yes, exactly. Yes.
apps and all. That's
Yes,
why I've been
yes,
asking like whether
exactly.
you work with
This-
collaboration.
This project was like 5 or 6 years ago.
Okay.
So now all these companies has developed this type of technology
Right.
as
Okay.
well.
Right. Great. Thank you.